Let's go ahead and get to the Let's go ahead and get to the interesting stuff.
Okay.
What is your character's name, and what is their reason? What is their connection to the Overlord? Why are they wanting to fight the Overlord in this scenario? Which there is this is would be which why your character is fighting is what would be referred to as your character's stance, which you can roll for that. There are charts for that. I have not translated them yet though. So we kind of just have to make something up here. Make something up on our own here.
Name is the hardest part. Everything else will be downhill from there.
Yeah. Oh, I've already hit fantasy name generators, so I'm for the first time fantasy name generators fails me. I really thought that they would have an entry on something like Dark Lords or something like that, but supervillain is probably going to be pretty close.
Yeah. My character's name is going to be Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Yeah. And her stance is going to be I still gotta think about that a little bit. I usually don't really care for fantasy name generator, but the kind of I looked at dragon names and the kind of tone that it was going for was not one that I was going for.
Yeah, because the blue dragon we got right here. That's like on the cover. Like this is actually like an image from the replay that's at the start of the book, which actually uses this very same scenario that we're about to play. And that dragon right there is has the classes dragon and mascot.
And Cinnamon's stance is going to be that the Overlord stole her royal family's treasure hoard.
All right, I can work with that.
So I'm going to go with fantasy name generators, and what I got out of that was Deokar the Cauldron Master.
Deokar the Cauldron Master.
Yep. I'm rolling with it.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Why is it? Do you ever have a situation where you're editing a character sheet in Roll20 and then it suddenly loses the save button, like disappears, and you can't save it?
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times.
It's never happened to me, but I can definitely believe that Roll20 would do such a thing.
Like it's like when I was setting this up yesterday, a lot of the images just broke. The button should still be there, but the images are probably what's crapping out on you. Oh, and one thing I noticed you missed was actually you can raise your max HP or your max energy by 1.
I'm gonna do max energy.
Okay.
So my stance. Let's see.
Basically, what is your axe that you have to grind against the Dragon Lord? That's the name of the Overlord you're facing. He calls himself the Dragon Lord.
So is there like so in this world, is there like a school for evil overlords?
There can be. There
All right,
can be.
So he and I went to school together, and I was the kind of I flunked out of the school, and of course he succeeded, and so that's it. I'm just envious that he got to be the overlord and I didn't, and so
Yeah.
Because I'm a screw up.
All right, we'll roll with that. So Deokar the Cauldron Master is angry at Dragon Lord because Dragon Lord is successful, and Cinnamon the Dragon Princess.
I was trying to think of like a royal family name. I need to think of like a something flame, but like a better word than flame, like a more evocative word.
Cinnamon, das Feuerschwinge. Cinnamon the Firewing.
Blazewing.
Blazewing. All right, we'll go with that. So, and it turns out that the Dragon Lord chose his name because his first truly villainous act that cemented himself as someone not to be trifled with was that he stole the Blazewing family treasure, and as a result, he has decided to since call himself the Dragon Lord to mock the Blazewing family.
The dragon, what? It cut out after dragon.
He called himself the Dragon Lord.
Okay.
Because he's using that title to mock the Blazewing family. Like, yes, I am powerful enough to mess with dragons. And so that's going to be sort of the groundwork that we're setting for this particular game. And one last thing I want to establish: how might Diokar and Cinnamon know each other, or why would they be willing to work together to take out the Dragon Lord? They each have their own individual reasons, but how did you two wind up together?
I guess we could both, before we kind of met up, we could have both been kind of thorns in the or at least kind of antagonistic to the Dragon Lord and his regime. And so in going up against his minions before, we've kind of run into each other.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, because we don't really have much common ground otherwise.
All right, so let me go ahead and refer to my notes real quick, and we'll go ahead and start the first scene with that being we'll go ahead and start with the first scene being you two working towards foiling some of the Dragon Lord's plans. In sort of the introductory scene. Let me check my notes real quick though. So we'll start with you two being outside of a village that is currently being raided by the Dragon Lord's minions. Like I said, I'm going full Dragon Quest with this. So you saw smoke off. So you two both saw smoke off in the distance. Telltale signs that the Dragon Lord is doing his thing, burning thatched roof cottages, and sending his minions to plunder and take whatever meager things the villages have. And so you two rush onto the scene and see that, lo and behold, some of the Dragon Lord's minions are there wreaking havoc. And this is going to start off as a combat scene. So you two arrive on the scene, and you see that there are two skeletons and a infernal knight just raising hell in this village. Like, ah, rah, 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 rah. There we go. Let's spread them out. Say that they're. There we go. And there is no rolling for initiative in this one. It's pretty static in this game, actually. And for the introductory scene, I believe it's the character with the highest rank class that goes first. Which in this case would be Overlord.
Yeah.
Because there is no hero present.
Ah, look, Cinnamon! Minions!
I see. And they're terrorizing this poor town. Only members of the Blazewing family can do that.
Yes, terrorizing is pretty delightful. But they're not doing it for me, and so we have to stop them.
And one of the villagers says, "Honestly, I'd like it if all you evil overlords would quit your evil overlord nonsense in harassing us. But if you could do something about these skeletons and this knight, that'd be great."
Yeah, well, no one cares what you think. but
Oh.
we'll take care of them anyway.
As long as it gets me one step closer to my family's treasure.
And the skeletons just sort of clack their heads menacingly, unable to speak, as does the knight, who just clanks his little visor and joints and all that stuff. They just make bone clacking and metal clanking sounds because they can't speak. So,
all right, so I'm gonna step forward and say that there were two skeletons, and the other thing is an infernal knight.
yes.
All right, I'm gonna attack the infernal knight.
All right. Using any particular skill or
just the basic attack?
All right. So, as I said, that is the skill rank you have for that skill, +1 in number of dice, and you keep the two highest. So at skill rank 1, that's going to be 2 dice.
And the dice would be d6?
Yes, 2d6. All right.
The highest 5.
So let me pull up his skills real quick. He has the warrior. He has access to the warrior class, and thus he's going to use the skill Sturdy Shield. He's got a really big shield that covers most of his body. So he has that at rank 2. So it's 3d6 k2 -1. All right. And the way damage works in this game is the amount of damage the attacker does is equal to the difference between their attack and their attack roll result and the target's defense roll result. So this Infernal Knight would take 3 damage from this attack because he rolled 5 to Diokar's 8. So he would take 3 damage, and with a mighty blow, you send him flying to pieces. Because the Infernal Knight only has 1 HP.
Oh.
So he is out of the picture. Hold on, might need to move him under the X. There we go. That's better. And next in the initiative round in this case would be Princess.
Cinnamon lets out a big roar and says, "Really? Is that it? That's all you can do? Well, the battle's not going to take much longer if and she goes on a rampage, and that's an attack against all of the enemies.
Yes.
And it's level 2, so 3d6 k2.
All right. $3d6k2. So they've only got the basic defend. So it's 2d6 -3. And they did not stand a chance. Cinnamon goes berserk and tears them limb from limb and beats them with their own arms and legs until they're nothing but bone meal.
I didn't even have to let loose any fire. How pathetic.
Diokar will jump up and down on the remains of the Infernal Knight and kind of shake his hands in the air and be like, "Ha ha, minions! He can't even get good minions."
The villager just sort of looks around and says, "Are you going to use that bone meal for anything, or can I make soup out of it?"
Diokar kind of looks him up and down. "You're really pathetic, you know that?"
"You're one to talk, Diokar. I never even. What kind of a name is the Cauldron Master?"
I'm the master of cauldrons.
Yeah, well, why don't you make me some soup out of these bones then?
Because I don't want to.
Oh, all right then. Then he goes, grabs a dustpan and starts sweeping up the bone meal.
And Deokar starts to kind of walk away. He puts his hands in his pockets and he says, I mean, I could make soup if I wanted to. It would be evil soup, but I don't really think he'd want evil soup.